Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called multitasking. I got my first career job in a local government, keeping tabs on its real estate and the legal documents relating to said real estate. I'm red behind the ears. My first 40-hour per week career job. This was a time when multitasking was a huge buzzword in business, and it seemed every single job I applied for required someone with good multitasking skills. I thought it was BS. I worked best when only working on one task at a time and managing my workload via a daily time allotment schedule. That is, I'd schedule my work in 15-minute lumps when I got in the morning and work on those tasks. That way I never missed a deadline. I had a project fall between the cracks. For example, some tasks got slotted 2 hours, some whole days, some just 15 minutes. I loved to keep my desk clean. All tasks that appeared in my physical inbox were sorted and prioritized. The paperwork was then filed and the task scheduled for later that day or later in the week, depending on how urgent it was. Consequently, my desk was always empty, save one folder and a few maps related to the folder. Once one task was done, that folder and its maps were filed. A new folder and its maps were retrieved. One afternoon, my direct boss walks in, looks at my desk with its one folder and 2 maps, looks at my clean-topped filing cabinets, looks at my empty inbox, physical one you actually put paper/folders in, grunts, walks out. 20 minutes later, my boss strides back into my office, drops 18 inches of folders and papers onto my inbox, states proudly and firmly, "Worker, it doesn't look like you have enough to do. This should keep you busy." He smiled and strutted back to his cluttered office. It was busy work. 3 weeks of mind-numbing paperwork. Nothing outside of my work description. Just more like duplicate files, old contracts, unorganized paperwork, and/or outdated maps. In dealing with the dump's aftermath, I learned my lesson. While doing my actual job was important, it was equally important that hard work appeared to be happening, so I could do my actual job. I started saving old files, old maps, and old legal documents. I rebound up papers that normally would have been recycled into legitimate-looking folders. I transformed my office into a duplicate of my boss's chaotic file and paper hellscape. My inbox always had papers and folders in it. Height and number would vary daily, never empty. I had folders piled on top of the file cabinets, folders in stacks on the floor. 24 of those white office boxes, packed with files towering around my work area. I even had a map rack with old maps rolled up in it. My office looked utterly cluttered. I even took to walking everywhere with a steno pad, a file folder, and sometimes a map under my arm. Didn't matter where. Every morning, right after scheduling my real work, I would shuffle the fake folders and paper around my desk and work area. Move the boxes about every 2 weeks. But in all that visual chaos, I kept one area of my desk clean, where the real work happened. One day, my boss peeked into my office, the door bumping into a stack of 3 full white boxes placed behind it, preventing it from fully opening. A single file fell off the top, spilling its guts all over the floor. He looked around, paused at the mess he just made, then, "Oh, sorry about that. What you working on?" I rattled off 3 of the highest priority properties on the current week's schedule and the tasks for each. "Alright, I'll give this to someone else," and walked on down the hall. I'd already completed those tasks. The next story is called Prioritize. I have been working in IT for the last 10 years. 4 of those in the company I am just leaving. I joined this company after a few bad experiences with coworkers and bosses. After getting to know some of the staff in the company, I was really happy about the coworkers and colleagues, because most of them seemed to be really friendly. Into my second year at the company, I felt like we were understaffed in IT. Not too bad still, I thought. That was up until our workload increased, before we could handle the daily stuff and projects, and on top could do some system upgrades over the year. Now we were getting more and more work, due to new regulations from corporate, and more software that needed to be supported. During this time, I started asking my team leader to look for a new guy. We needed more hands. After a year of bringing this up at least once per month, my boss started with a speech about, you just need to prioritize your work. Of course, this would not help. If the work is at like 110% of the load that the current team could handle, we increased our hours and could get it done. But that was only for half a year. At this point I was done with this whole ordeal. Corporate IT got more and more hostile. If you did not message some people directly, what was prohibited normally. And on top, I saw people left and right leaving. After around 3 years of being with the company, I saw our trainee leave. I talked to him about pay and why he wanted to leave. Not to deter him, but to understand his reasoning and show my support. And at that point, I have been passively looking for a job for about 6 months. I was at this time talking to my team leader and telling him that he needs to increase my salary by around 8% at least and bring more hands to the team. He was asking me why I wanted to leave. I told him about the problems that he knows and said that I can't bring myself to stay in this company with the problems the team is facing. I just need to prioritize myself. He did not react unfortunately, but I think he got the point. I handed in my resignation and start my new job next month. I found out later from my boss, basically the one above my team leader and me, that my team leader has never asked for more people. The last story is called Put It Back. $140 for an oil change seems steep, but keep in mind this was a 22-year-old Chevy SUV. Not only did it need an oil change, but it's already suffering from bad piston slap, which we documented. It got dropped off for overnight oil change, and first thing in the morning, the customer showed up for his truck. When he heard the price, he got upset and said he wasn't paying that and to put the old oil back. He doesn't care how. After explaining it wasn't possible, he gave off bad vibes, and judging from the condition of his truck, he's always been a prick. When he left, I had a talk with the other tech, and he was confused about how we are putting the old oil back, when it was so bad it looked like burnt oil. I told him we're gonna pump the top of waste oil, enough to fill his truck. All the waste oil is mixed synthetic, Excel and standard oil, mixed with waste and generally not a good idea to reuse it. But he insisted when he said he didn't care how. We put his old filter back and put desert heat aged old oil back in it. And as added measure, one of the techs he set off put Excel grease on the top of his catalytics, which doesn't damage anything or smoke. It just smells horrible when it's heated. We put his truck down and put it outside and gave the keys to the owner of the shop. When he came to get his truck, the owner was outside waiting and told him not to come back again. The boss is still worried that we might be on the hook for his engine if it blows. But we showed him all the paperwork and the documented piston slapping. We figure his truck might last another year at best, if he changed the oil by now. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.